The camera shutter kept clicking, but it felt like it was for someone else. I had planned my maternity shoot for weeks. I was 7 months pregnant and finally feeling good after a rough start. We were in a beautiful apple orchard as the sun was going down, making everything look golden. I wore a yellow dress that flowed in the wind. My husband Ryan stood next to me, his hand on my belly, looking so proud. This was my day, my moment to feel special. My younger sister Brittany was supposed to be in just a few pictures at the end. She had insisted, saying she had to be part of her niece's first photo shoot. I should have said no. Brittany and I have always had a weird relationship. I'm the quiet, responsible one. She's the loud, dramatic one who always needs to be the center of attention. The day before the shoot, she sent a surprise message to our whole family. She announced she was pregnant too, only 8 weeks along. My heart sank. I was happy for her, but it felt like she was trying to steal my thunder, like she always does. Ryan told me not to let it bother me, that the day was still mine. He was wrong. The second Brittany showed up at the orchard, everything changed. She was wearing a tight red dress that showed off her tiny bump. As the photographer, Lisa, tried to take pictures of me and Ryan, Brittany jumped in front of the camera. "Get a picture of the two mamas," she said, posing dramatically. Lisa, trying to be nice, took the picture. Then it got worse. Brittany started telling us how to pose. She said the light was better over where she was standing. She pulled out little baby shoes from her purse, a prop I never asked for. She kept sighing and talking about the miracle of life while I just stood there, feeling more and more invisible. Ryan was getting angry. He kept saying, "Let's get some of just Sarah and me now." But Brittany would pout and say, "Just one more. This is so perfect." And the camera would click on her, not on me. I watched her pose with a fake tear on her cheek, and I realized I was a ghost at my own party. She had stolen all my joy. That night, I looked at the sneak peek photos on my computer. It was worse than I thought. In every picture with Brittany, she was the star. She was in the center, smiling her perfect smile. I was off to the side, looking blurry and sad. One picture really hurt. We were supposed to be standing together as sisters, but she had turned her body to show off her little bump, looking like a happy angel. I just looked small and miserable. These were supposed to be happy pictures for my baby to see one day, and they were just a record of me being pushed aside. A tear of pure anger hit my keyboard. I slammed the laptop shut. I felt a dark, hard decision form in my heart. I wasn't going to let her win. The next week was awful. Brittany called me every day, talking about how great the pictures were and how she couldn't wait to see the ones of her. I pretended to be happy, but inside I was boiling. Ryan said I should just talk to her, but I knew it would start a huge fight. When the final photos came, I looked at them alone. They made me feel sick. There were pictures where Brittany was literally blocking me with her back. There were pictures where she looked like a goddess and I looked like a confused mess. One picture broke me. I looked so sad and lost. That's when I got a dangerous idea. What if Brittany wasn't in the pictures at all? I remembered the photographer, Lisa, said she could edit photos for an extra fee. My heart started pounding. It was a crazy thing to do. But looking at those pictures of my stolen day, it felt like justice. This wasn't about her baby. It was about taking back what was mine. I emailed Lisa. I tried to sound professional, saying I wanted a more focused set of photos. I asked for a price to remove Brittany from 20 pictures. She sent back a high price, but I didn't care. I took money from our savings and paid her. I clicked the Pay Now button, feeling scared and powerful at the same time. A week later, the new pictures were in my email. I opened them with a shaking hand. And there I was. Alone. Beautiful. My hands were on my belly. I was laughing in the sun. There was no one blocking me, no one stealing my moment. It was perfect. It was how the day should have been. I felt a huge wave of relief. I had taken back my happiness. With a mix of pride and fear, I put the best picture on Instagram. It was the one of me alone, laughing in my yellow dress. I wrote, "My greatest adventure begins soon. So grateful for this beautiful moment captured." I posted it and then turned my phone off completely. I had made my move. Now I just had to wait for the explosion. The explosion came the second I turned my phone back on. For a whole day, I had felt a nervous peace. People were liking my photo and leaving nice comments. It felt good. Ryan, who was shocked at first by what I did, said the picture was beautiful and that it was how the day should have been. For a little while, I thought I had gotten away with it. But then my phone went crazy. It vibrated over and over. I had missed calls from Brittany, my mom, and my Aunt Carol. My mom texted, "Call me right now. What is going on?" Aunt Carol wrote, "Brittany is losing her mind. Did you two have a fight?" Then Brittany's texts started. "Where are the photos from our shoot? Are you only posting pictures of yourself? I just saw your Instagram. I can't believe this. Then, you photoshopped me out? You erased me." My blood went cold. How did she know? A cousin texted me that the photographer had posted a behind-the-scenes picture from that day showing me and Brittany together. So Brittany knew I had her removed. The secret was out. My phone rang. It was Brittany. I answered and she was screaming. "How could you do this to me? To my baby? You erased me. You're pretending my child doesn't exist." I tried to explain, my voice shaking. "You took over my whole shoot. You made it all about you." But she wasn't listening. She was sobbing. "Mom is coming over. We are all going to talk about this. You need to explain why you deleted my happiness." She hung up. The doorbell rang again and again, followed by a loud knock. They were here. I opened the door to see my mom's face, full of a disappointed anger I hadn't seen since I was a kid. Ryan let them in. My mom and Aunt Carol walked into the living room looking serious and upset. My mom demanded to know where I was. I came out and Aunt Carol said this must be a misunderstanding, that Brittany was hysterical and said I cut her out. I said it was no misunderstanding, that Brittany ruined my shoot by making it all about her. My mom sighed and said Brittany was just excited and that I had overreacted in a cruel way. She said deleting my sister was like pretending she and her baby weren't real. I felt like I was going crazy. They were twisting it all around. I yelled, for once, I wanted something to be about me. Not Brittany. Just once. Aunt Carol said family was about messy moments and that I should have just let Brittany be excited. They weren't hearing me at all. Ryan stepped in and said that what Brittany did was selfish and that I paid for the shoot so I could have the photos I wanted. My mom said it was too extreme and that this was a wound that might never heal. Then her phone buzzed. It was my dad. He had seen the messages and was upset. Now he was involved too. As we were arguing, my phone buzzed. It was a notification from our private family Facebook group. Brittany had posted something. I opened it and my heart stopped. She had posted a screenshot of my beautiful photoshopped picture with a big red circle around the empty space where she used to be. The caption, in all capital letters, said, "Some people can't stand to share the spotlight. But I will not let anyone erase my child's existence." She had taken our private fight and made it public for the whole family to see. The war had just gotten a whole lot bigger. Suddenly, my private world felt very small and very exposed. My screen was filled with red notification dots, every one a tiny judgment. Brittany was a master at playing the victim online. She posted a teary video about family betrayal. She didn't use my name, but everyone knew it was about me. My own Instagram post became a battlefield. Strangers and distant relatives left mean comments. "Wow, way to be a supportive sister. This is so sad. Did you really Photoshop your sister out? That's petty." The worst was a message from my dad. It just said, "I am disappointed in your behavior. Call your sister and apologize. This ends now." His words felt like a physical punch. Even some of my friends asked if deleting her was the right move. The weight of all that judgment started to crush me. My anger began to fade, replaced by a sickening doubt. Had I been a monster? I almost apologized so many times, but I couldn't do it. It felt like giving up. I was exhausted and felt completely alone. I was about to shut my computer when a new email popped up. It was from Lisa, the photographer. The subject line said, "Urgent, cease and desist." My hands shook as I opened it. The email was cold and official. It said I was no longer allowed to use the edited photos and I had to take them down everywhere immediately. She said I had violated the agreement about Brittany's likeness. Brittany had turned my family and the internet against me, and now she had used the photographer to take away my pictures. My beautiful, reclaimed photos were being taken from me. It felt like the final, humiliating defeat. Taking the photos down felt like admitting I was wrong. I deleted the Instagram post and the photos from my cloud. The online trolls celebrated. Brittany posted a victorious message. The silence from my family was awful. The fight just left me, and I felt hollow and empty. Ryan said we could get new photos taken, just the two of us. But it wasn't about the pictures anymore. It was about everything. A week later, a package came from Aunt Carol. It was a knitted baby blanket. The note with it said, "For the baby. I'm praying for your family to find peace. Your sister is struggling very much with this. Perhaps when you are both mothers, you will understand the bond you've broken." The note blamed me for everything. It was the last straw. I didn't cry. I felt something snap inside. I walked to my computer and went to a website where people post their problems. I typed out my whole story. I told them everything about Brittany, the photo shoot, the family fight, everything. I ended it by asking, "So, am I the bad guy for photoshopping my sister out of my maternity photos?" I hit post. My story was now out there for strangers to judge. I refreshed the page, my heart pounding. The first comments appeared. The votes started. An hour later, my post had hundreds of comments. My phone rang from an unknown number. I answered. A woman said, "Hi, this is Jessica from the Upvote podcast. We saw your post. We want you on our show tomorrow to talk about it. We've already reached out to Brittany, and she's agreed to come on live." My breath caught. The story was now going to be on a national podcast. Brittany had already agreed. The final, most public battle was about to start, and everyone would be listening. The world seemed to spin after that phone call. Brittany had already agreed to the podcast. Of course she had. It was a bigger stage for her drama. Ryan was furious, calling it a trap, but I felt a strange, cold determination. This was my only chance to tell my side without being interrupted. I agreed to go on the show. The next 24 hours were the longest of my life. I was a nervous wreck. When the time came, Ryan and I sat at our kitchen table, my laptop open to the live stream. My hands were freezing. The host, Jessica, introduced us, and then Brittany was there, her voice already sounding tearful. Jessica asked me why I photoshopped my sister out. I tried to explain calmly about the orchard and how Brittany took over. But the second I started, Brittany cut in, her voice shaking. She said she was just excited to share the journey and had no idea I felt such resentment. She was doing it again, right on live radio, playing the victim. I tried to stay calm, but she kept twisting my words. She said I erased her, that I was trying to pretend her baby didn't exist. Jessica egged her on. It was becoming a screaming match, and I was losing. Then, the worst thing happened. Jessica's producer said they had another caller. It was my mom. My blood ran cold. She came on the line and her voice was tight with anger. She said, "Sarah, what you did was wrong. It was spiteful. You have broken this family. You need to apologize to Brittany and get help for your jealousy." I couldn't breathe. My own mother had publicly condemned me on a national podcast. I heard Brittany crying with relief in the background. I reached out and slammed my laptop shut. The silence in my kitchen was deafening. Ryan was staring in horror. I had walked into the biggest spotlight and been destroyed. The phone started ringing immediately. We didn't answer. Texts flooded in. Then a text from my dad came through. It just said, "Call me." I called him, a desperate part of me hoping for something, anything. His voice was tired and cold. He said, "This ends now. You will apologize. You are the one tearing this family apart." Then he hung up. I felt completely numb. Ryan was pacing, furious. He said, "We're done. We are not apologizing. We are getting proof." I didn't understand. He said we had the original, unedited photos. The ones that showed exactly what Brittany did. We went to the computer and looked through them. There was the picture where her back was to the camera, blocking me. There was the one where she looked like a happy goddess and I looked miserable. We picked the 5 worst ones. Then we made a new Instagram account. We posted the 5 bad original pictures on one side and my beautiful solo photoshopped picture on the other. The caption was simple. It said, "Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words." These are the original photos. The final photo is how the mother always envisioned her day. I shared it from my own account and turned off my phone. We had launched our missile. Now we waited. About 20 minutes later, Ryan said it was spreading fast online. People were sharing it, saying the evidence was clear. Then the photographer, Lisa, shared the post herself, confirming that the pictures on the left were the real, unedited ones. It was a huge validation. Then a direct message came to the new account. It was from Brittany, all in capital letters, screaming that I was a monster and to take it down or she would sue me. I felt nothing. The doorbell rang. It was my dad. I let him in. He looked old and defeated. He stood in our living room and said, "I saw the pictures." He looked at the floor. "I didn't know it was like that. Your mother. She never showed me what Brittany did. It was wrong. It was unkind." He finally admitted it. He said he was sorry for how he spoke to me on the phone. It wasn't a full apology, but it was an acknowledgement. He saw the truth. He left soon after. The calm didn't last. Later that night, my mom called. She was crying. She said, "What have you done? Strangers are sending Brittany horrible messages." I asked her how she could have taken Brittany's side after what she did to me. There was a long silence. Then my mom whispered, "I didn't see those pictures until tonight. Your father showed me. Brittany made it sound so different. I believed her. I'm her mother. I'm supposed to believe her." I said, "You're my mother too." And she broke down. She sobbed and said, "I know. I am so sorry, Sarah. I am so sorry I didn't listen to you." It was the apology I wanted, but it felt empty and sad. I told her it was too late, that the things she said on the podcast couldn't be taken back. I told her I needed space, that I was done with the drama. She cried, but she didn't argue. The fight was over. My family was broken, but I had finally made them see the truth. A few days later, a package arrived. It was a large, framed print of my beautiful solo maternity photo from Ryan. He hung it in the nursery. My daughter would never know the painful story behind that picture. She would just see her mom, happy and waiting for her. And that was the only ending that really mattered. The weeks that followed were quiet, but it was a heavy quiet, like the air after a big storm. The internet eventually found something new to talk about. The comments slowed down and then stopped. My mom tried to call a few more times, but I let it go to voicemail. I just didn't have the energy to talk. Her apology was real, I believed that, but the wound was too deep to heal quickly. I focused on getting ready for the baby, folding tiny clothes and setting up the crib. The framed picture from Ryan hung in the nursery, and every time I looked at it, I didn't see the fight anymore. I just saw myself, happy and peaceful, and that felt like a small victory. Brittany was completely out of my life. It was a clean, sharp cut. It hurt, but it also felt necessary, like removing a splinter that had been festering for years. My dad would text me sometimes, just simple things like "thinking of you" or "how are you feeling?" It was his way of trying, and I appreciated the effort without needing to have a big conversation. Then, my daughter arrived. When I held her for the first time, all the noise and the pain of the past few months just faded into a distant hum. She was all that mattered. We named her Lily. One afternoon, I was rocking Lily in the nursery, and I was looking at that picture on the wall. I realized I didn't feel angry or sad anymore. I just felt tired, and a little sad for everything that had been lost, but mostly I felt a strong, clear love for the little girl in my arms. The fight with my family wasn't a story with a happy ending where everyone hugs and makes up. It was more like a broken bone that had healed wrong. It would always be there, a little stiff and achy, a reminder of what happened. But it didn't control me anymore. I had my own family now, my own story to write with Ryan and Lily. And that story, I decided, was going to be a happy one.